Hey everybody, it's me, Undead Viking. I'm here to tell you about a game called Faux Hunters. Faux Hunters is a fantasy-based cooperative card game wherein a party of adventurers is going to work together to take down a big bad guy or a big bad group or what have you. The two main, the reason I say this is because the two main bad guys that I got for this game to play with were a big giant dragon and then this like weird cult of like some strange other realmly demonic, Cthulhu-esque kind of ancient one horror type thing. And so basically what happens is that you have a deck of cards that you start with for your particular hero. However, you're able to add to that deck by going to the city and purchasing new items, new abilities, and what have you. Then you'll add those to your deck and to your hand, and then you'll play those, and you'll attempt to take down the big bad monster. But the big bad monster has lots of powers. They will, you turn cards over for the big bad guy to give them little minions and vassals that will do their bidding. I should apologize. They have vassals. Humans, or not, I shouldn't say humans, but the human players, they have minions that they will have assist them. So they have vassals that will fight for them and do damage each time that the foe turn comes up, and then of course the big bad guy does something as well, and then and they get abilities and what have you, and then the players do the same thing. Each person takes a turn. They use the cans in their card to do certain actions and abilities in an attempt to do damage to the big bad thing and also the foe, if you will. And then hopefully the heroes can manage to stay alive long enough to actually defeat the horrible beastie or group or what have you, and win the game. So let me show you how the game is played. It's pretty simple, it's pretty straightforward, and then we'll come back here and I'll tell you more about Faux Hunters. Alright, here we have Faux Hunters, and I've gone ahead and set this game up. As you can probably guess, due to the fact that you see that one art, please, on a lot of the cards, this is a prototype, so just bear in mind that this is not going to be what the game looks like when it is published. Alright, so the two basic parts, besides the different player decks, which you're going to see down here, are the city deck, which is this, and then you put the top four cards off to the side, like so, and those are the four items that are available to be purchased in the city at this time. And then there also is the Faux deck, and then the Faux itself right there. And then the Faux, and each Faux for this is Emberglow, the Flamebringer, the big giant dragon. This is a dragon spawn, and it is the phase 1, and so then it has its powers for phase 1 over here. And then once phase 1, the situation or is satisfied to flip the card, then you'll flip it over. So you have all damage dealt to the foe is reduced to 1, so no matter what you do, you can only do 1 point of damage to the dragon spawn. At the beginning of the foe phase, you heal the foe 1 hit point for every 4 damage it has, so if it's got 4 points of damage on, you put little markers on here, you'd heal 1, 8 would be 2, and then when this card was reduced to 0 hit points, flip it. So basically you have to do a bunch of damage and keep hitting it until you can get it flipped over. And that's important because you're going to be turning over more cards from the Faux deck, and that's going to reveal other things that are going to affect the players. And so the longer that this goes on, the more damage the heroes are going to take and the less chance you're going to have to succeed. But so you got to get it flipped over, so you get it flipped over. Now here's the big dragon, and you can see there's Emberglow the Flamebringer. You can see it is phase 2, and then the abilities change. First of all, 90 hit points. So he's got a ton of hit points. And you reveal cards until you reveal H. That stands for the number of heroes. So we're playing a 4-player game. You reveal 4, 3, 3, and so on and so forth. Persistent abilities, and then put them into play. For the rest of the game, they cannot be destroyed by heroes, and put all of the cards revealed this way on the bottom. So you're going to give them a bunch of powers to start off with. And in the beginning of the Faux phase, deal 3 fire damage to each hero and vassal. Whenever a hero uses a feat, that hero takes 2 melee damage. So basically, you're getting close and you're going to get hit, and then he's going to do 3 points of damage at the beginning of every Faux phase. So that's what you have to look forward to once you get to that part. But you have to get through that to win the game. So each person is going to take a hero, and I've given each hero a 12-sided die that will represent their experience points. Start with 4 experience points, and you use experience to actually purchase these items up here. Now, you may notice that some of these have these different colors, and that kind of just tells you what type of item it is, who it's geared for. You know, like spells. You know, these are like kind of a faith ability. This is a melee ability, and then these are the kind of the generic things. So like, and also some of them like will have this little thing over here that says Necromancer. Now that doesn't mean that only the Necromancer can have this. Anybody can have this, but if a Necromancer purchases this, it costs them 1 less XP. So it costs 2 XP for the Necromancer. It would cost 1. And this is an ability card. Your hero takes 2 spirit damage, and you draw 2 cards, and your hero receives 1 experience for Dark Concentration. And so, and like the Paladin can take that. It just, you know, it maybe doesn't fit with the character. And so like here's the Paladin card. Just deal 4 holy damage to a target. If the target is destroyed from the attack, heal your hero for 4 hit points. Then your hero receives an experience, and so, you know, a smite, if you will. And then, you know, here is just like a generic equipment. It's just equipment, and if your hero would die, sacrifice this card and heal your hero to 1 hit point instead. And you don't really die. That's kind of a misnomer, if you will. The heroes become incapacitated. They function at a very low rate, at a low ability, you know, at that point, but they can still contribute to the battle, and hopefully they can help out. Basically, each person's going to pick one of these heroes, and I'm just going to like take the Necromancer here, and like, you know, other players would have taken these, so I'm just going to put these off to the side. And so I have my die that has the 4, and then I put my hero right there to show that who I have, and then, you know, and obviously, like I said, like each of the other heroes will still, you know, be acting, if you will, but, you know, I'm just not going to use those for this particular time. And then, you know, we have all of these hero cards here, and we're going to take a moment to shuffle these up a little bit. You'll notice that the backs of these look exactly the same as the other hero cards, because once you take these cards, you add them to your deck, and then you want to look different because you don't want them you don't want to know, you know, oh, that's a card I bought in the city, if you will. So to go through the turn, the first thing you do is you have to go through the Faux phase first. So at the beginning, you resolve any kind of a Faux ability that might be present on either the Faux card or maybe the cards that we've you know, drawn and turn the side. Oh, and I should mention too that each person will draw 1 card off the top of their deck and have that in their hand to start. So like we have Corpse Bond. Whenever you play a minion, draw a card and heal your hero for 1 point. So you can just have this. And notice it's a persistent ability. So if we play this, it would actually then go off to the side of our hero, and it would just exist, and that would be like the ability that he would have. So we'll just keep that handy as our card that we have. And so then we go through. And so you do the Faux phase. Sometimes there'll be other creatures that you summon that will have abilities that will go below there, and you'll go through that process. And then after each one of you've done, then you we're going to like not only do cards that are here, but also do the one there, and then we're going to draw a card off the top of the deck. Turning this card over, we see that we have a Deafening Roar. It's an ability, so it's just going to be a one and done type of situation. So at the beginning, until the beginning of the next Faux phase, Faux targets are immune to damage. Each hero receives 1 experience. So, you know, we can't do anything to affect. Now, if there's more monsters out there, that would kind of stink because they'd be sitting out there. Maybe they'd be doing damage to us every turn. But that's kind of nice because everybody's going to get an experience point, and basically because you have to kill things to get experience points, so it kind of gives you that 1, which is nice. And so we will go ahead, and after doing that, you then decide which hero is going to go first. Of all the heroes that are available, you don't have to always have the first person go. This is like kind of a planning phase where each person's going to decide what you're going to do. And then you are going to have each person's going to take a turn, and they have to take their full turn. They can't take half of their turn and somebody else goes. You have to take the full situation. But you get to do 3 things on your turn, and you can do this in any order, but you have to complete the thing that you do before you move on to something else. Your options are play a card from your hand. You can purchase a card from the city deck, and you can activate 1 feat. Now, if you have any kind of armor or anything, you ready all of your cards that you may have exhausted on the last turn. And then you can, as the players can, as a group, decide that they're going to take one of the cards that's in the city and they're going to discard it. They're just going to say, okay, we're not going to be able to get that card, we're just going to put it aside, and we're going to draw a new one. And so, like, you maybe this one, since it's 15 and nobody's got that much of it, we're going to just get rid of that one as a group. Everybody decides they're going to do that. And so then we have a Berserker card out there. But, so, and that's actually pretty good, because maybe, like, the Berserker player can then get that, and because he doesn't have a card out, he didn't have a card out there that was for him, specifically kind of for him. There's a Pathfinder, a Berserker, a Paladin, a Necromancer card, but there wasn't one for the Berserker, so that's probably a good idea that we did that. So, to begin the Necromancer turn, well, we can't attack the creature over there, so they get to play a card from their hand. We already said we were going to, play that card. Oh, and I should say you draw another card, too. So, you draw another card, and let's see what we got here. Crypt Purge ability, sacrifice a minion, destroy a target equipment or persistent ability. So that's a pretty good card to have for the future. But we don't have a minion yet, but you do get minions, trust me. And then so you're going to go ahead, and then now we're going to purchase a card. Well, we got the 5 experience. We can get this for 1. And the nice thing is when you buy a card, you immediately take it into your hand. So if it was a card that you wanted to play, like Dark Concentration, like you wanted to play that one right away, you could have taken it as your first ability and then used it right away. But, I wanted to get that persistent ability out because it's pretty good, and just, in preparation for the rest of the turn. And then, if you want, you may activate a feat. And feats are either going to be in persistent abilities or things that you have, other cards that you have in front of you, or you have. So, in this feat, it says you may discard a card. If you do, return a minion from your graveyard to play. Well, we don't really have a feat that we can play, so we're just not going to do that. And so, once we're done with that particular turn, then it'll go to the next player, and they'll do their thing, and so on and so forth. I just want to show you some of the other cards, like just so you kind of get a feel for what else does. So, like, you have equipment. Equipment is just obviously equipped. The first time minion you can, like, here's a little corpse dance dagger. Minion you control deals damage to each in turn. Heal your hero for 2 hit points. Here's like a minion, an Unearthed Acolyte, and they're going to have hit points. Redirect damage you would take to a minion you control whenever you play a card or draw a card. You may deal 1 spirit damage to a target. So obviously, as you can probably guess, the Necromancer, they are about, here's pretty cool artwork for Gravestorm. Sacrifice any number of minions, deal twice the spirit damage to a target, where X is twice the number of the minions sacrificed. Draw a card, heal your hero 1 hit point for each minion sacrificed this way, and then you also gain experience. So, I mean, they have all these different... And the game isn't exactly tough to do, because the cards themselves are pretty straightforward. They describe exactly what you need to do. But, they work the way they're supposed to. They work thematically. The Necromancer is all about summoning these minions and using them. The Berserker is all about melee power. The Paladin is about healing and also doing smite damage. And the Pathfinder, as you can probably guess, is all about shooting things with their bow. And you get kind of like they have a marked target, which is an ability that they have that they can put on a target so then they can go after that one. And like the Paladin has this martyr card that they can use. When you have that, you can redirect damage to yourself because you're the martyr of the party. So thematically, the game works really well. So at the end of your turn, you do fill this back up. You don't fill it as you buy things, so you do fill it back up like so. And then we got another big giant Aegis, big giant equipment where you get armor. And then when you get things that have like +1 armor or +2 damage, you will have these little other cards to make so here like the Aegis is +2 armor, so you'd get 2 of these, so you know that. And if you had +1 damage, you'd have that. And you just keep those, by your deck over here, so you know what those are. Now I just want to show you quick some of the other things here. So as you go through this, they have abilities, as I said, and they have persistent abilities too, like whenever fire damage is dealt, the Faux heals a hit point. And so, they have those, but they also have, minions or vassals. When this card is played, search the Faux deck for hero H, number, so 4, competing Dragon Slayer cards and put them into play, then shuffle the Faux deck. And so then obviously this hit points are what you have to do to attack that to get rid of it. And here is a competing Dragon Slayers. That's the one that we were just referring to. And so, these are and these will be put down, with, the deafening roar. After it would done, we would just put that in the discard pile. But, these would be, these vassals would be put underneath, and they have to be dealt with as well. And so, hopefully, you have enough power to deal with these guys, deal with that one, get it flipped over, and hopefully you then can take it out. As I said, if you do get reduced to 0 hit points, you have to just basically turn your card to the side, showing that you're incapacitated, and then you discard all of your equipment, you discard all the cards, you discard everything that you have going for you, basically, and then you turn over the top card of your deck. If it's an ability, you can play it. Anything else, you just can't do anything. Which, is unfortunate, but, it kind of like is showing your, like, kind of last gasp possibility, if you will, at that point. But you can, after you reveal that, you get to pick one other hero and give them 1 experience point, just to kind of help them out as the game persists. If all the people get incapacitated, then you lose, and if you manage to kill the boss, you win. It's a pretty straightforward game, but it is highly cooperative, very thematic, and a lot of fun. But let me tell you more about that in my conclusion. Alright, there you go. That is Faux Hunters, and yeah, I dig the game a lot. I think, as I said, it is a game that went above and beyond as far as to implement the theme of the whole fantasy, Dungeons and Dragons genre, if you will, and do a really good job representing it in the form of a card game. Plus, it matches up really well with what I want out of a cooperative game. Is it tough? Yeah, it kicks my butt a lot, and it has to beat me the first time I play. I mean, and like, I love that feeling of the first time when you play a cooperative game. You're like, well, I don't know what's going on. I have no shot. This is ridiculous. How do you possibly win this game? And then you play the next time, and you're like, okay, we still lost, but we didn't get the drubbing that we got the last time, so we're learning. And then you play the next time, and you're like, you come so close to winning, because you just finally figured it out, And then you start figuring out the game, and you start picking your right path. But the thing is that what I really like about it is that the game can still win, even when you start making the right choices, and you start putting together the right chains, and you start telling, each person starts playing their role and doing the right thing. The luck of the cards, and also just how not being in the right spot at the right moment comes and kind of bites you on the butt, and you lose anyway. And so I want to lose 1 out of 3, 1 out of 4 times whenever I play a cooperative game. No matter how good I get at it, I want the game still to kick my butt. Otherwise, it's going to be boring winning all the time. And this game satisfies that. And plus, as I said, each person has a role, so you don't have that situation where it's like one person is just telling everybody else what to do. Each person kind of embodies that situation, that role, that class, that D&D class. I'm a barbarian. I'm supposed to run forward and hack things with my axe. That's my job, And so I like the fact they do that. The other really cool thing about this is that it is highly adaptable. These are the cards that the designer sent me that I was able to play with, that are all going to be part of the stretch goals for the Kickstarter campaign. And this is new cards for the city, new heroes, new bad guys, all kinds of crazy stuff. And it's just, and the replay value for this game is absolutely going to be through the roof, with all of these different abilities, powers, spells, equipment. Evil dudes, and that you're just going to be able to say, this time let's go ahead and let's see if we can defeat the evil cult with a monk, a paladin, and a shaman. Let's take those guys and see if we can beat them that time. And that's what I like about games like this, is that they are highly adaptable, highly changeable, and there is that storytelling element that kind of, as you said, if you picture the ideas, you picture the moments in your head, it's like when you're a necromancer, for at least when I play, I don't have a situation where I'm like, okay, I'm going to bring that guy back from the dead, and I'm going to use his, essence to power the spell. No, in my head, I see him, pulling that guy out of the grave, and then draining his soul, and turning it into some sort of spell that he flings at the dragon's face that explodes and does damage. But that's just me, I guess. But, I dig that, and I like that, and because I am in this role-playing game world in my head, and I play lots of D&D, I like being able to have that sort of action, that sort of existence or experience outside of my normal D&D sessions. basically, the game is awesome. You know, I can't wait to see what the final art's going to look like for all the cards. I really can't wait to see what other ideas that the designer has, you know, brewing as far as more cards and more things that they can add to the game. And I'm really looking forward to you know, playing this more in the future. So that was Full Hunters. If you have any questions about the game, please ask away. I'll try to answer those to the best of my ability. As always, I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. And until next time, you have yourself one heck of an awesome day. All right, bye-bye.